people know it, Pat and his cousin opened this business. We started it. We mortgaged our house, everything we own to start this business. Bob has been a customer of Pat's for a long time. Right about that time, Bob was actually fishing on the pro circuit, you know. And so Bob was in the painting business. He wanted to get out of the painting business, so he stepped right in here. And it, you know, we consider that a divine intervention because it's been a perfect match ever since.
In a big, small area. We live in a big city that's got a small town feeling to it. Everybody knows everybody. It's really easy and really simple to know the people that's got your back. When I first started fishing, I moved here, I didn't know a whole lot of people, but Bob welcomed me into their group as a fisherman, as a friend, the way that somebody that you're been friends with forever would. What they mean to this community is they mean friendship, they mean fellowship, they mean somebody's gonna have your back. And we all know in the boating industry, if you're gonna fish, you need somebody in this industry that's got your back. And they've always had my back.
You know, a lot of these guys, man, I feel like they aspire to be a professional angler. You know, we all have that mindset, you know. Granted, most of us will never attempt it or try it, but I mean, I feel like all the guys that fish around here, you know, would dream and love to have the opportunity to compete on a professional level. And my take from L&L Marine is every time you pull up there, they treat you as if you're a local professional. You know, and just it's almost like you're pulling up at home with your family, and you get first-class service, and it's just, I don't know, it's just, they have always treated me second to none, and I think it's that way for every local guy around here. I mean, they treat each individual that comes through their store, or each individual's boat that comes through their shop, they treat it as if it's their own. You know, nobody's got priority over anybody. They just, you know, I think that's why they've been so successful. You know, they got an open door, they welcome everybody to come in, and you know, they just talk about everything from faith to fishing, you know, and it gives everybody a comfort level, and it just makes people, you know, in the community want to be a part of that organization, you know, and I think that's why they've been so successful.
You know, they're a bunch of, Bob and Pat, man, they're two great Christian guys, leaders. L&L Marine is known in the Southeast probably for one of the better marinas in the area. And Pat, you know, Pat's a great friend of mine. We spent a lot of time together just kind of talking, and in fact, he and I got on the, Bob put us in at Oliver Dam one day in their boat, and just me and Pat went all the way to the Gulf, went out there and fished 2 days, turned around and drove all the way back. So we spent over 800 miles in a little old 21-foot rig he's got. But you know, but being with him, he's just I call it an honor to be with him, because he's just a fine fella, and Bob's the same way. And at L&L, as far as the company, you know, when you go in there, you know, there's more line that goes on in that place. I mean, he can tell you, I mean, they lie, everybody that comes in there lie, but there's also a lot of praying that goes on in there. They have prayer meeting there every Tuesday morning, and I guarantee you, if if somebody comes in there with a problem in their life, and you know, go in there and say, Bob, Pat, man, I got a situation going on. Man, they'll carry you back there in the break room. They might just hit their knees right there and pray for you. And so, I mean, they're both men of character, and you know, I can sit here all day and tell stories about both of them, but you know, but they mean a lot to me. Had a big impact on my life, and still do. And so that's what, you know, Bob and Pat mean to me, and what L&L means to me.
Bob and Pat, like I said, they're like family. They check on my girl, they check on my wife, they check on me. Like he said, if we got problems, they got problems, we there for each other. I just can't tell you how close of friends they are to me. Me and John and Bob and Pat, we've all been to the Gulf. We stay down there, fish, and snapper fish, and come back. We just real close. Been close for a long time. If they called and they needed something, I'd be there. And same for them. They'd drop what they're doing to help me.
You being a man of faith, you know, a Christian man, and not mind sharing your faith like both of them do. They don't mind at all. I mean, you can't really ask for more than that, and they would, you know, that's just the way they are. Even the crew that works there.
I've known Bob and Pat probably 30 years. Pat probably a little bit longer than Bob. I was actually working with Pat at North River Marine when he decided he was going to open L&L. He did that. Bob joined and bought out part of it a couple of years later, and I worked for him there when I was in college for a summer or two, and you know, from that time on, Pat has probably been known as the best outboard mechanic probably in the country. You know, some of the stuff he taught me when I worked in the shop, you know, I wouldn't take anything for what I learned from him over the years. But they've always been just instrumental to fishing around here. You know, you look at the water on Saturdays, and every boat you see came from L&L. Whatever they're selling is what you see around here. But they've taken care of people. They've taken care of these kids with high school fishing. It's kind of hard to explain how much they've actually done for people, families, and everything else, you know, over the years. I know there's been a couple of times that my wife had some medical issues, and if it hadn't been for Bob and his family, we wouldn't have made it, wouldn't have been able to go fishing. But he's always taken care of us and taken care of our kids and everything else. Of course, Turner here can tell you how many times some of us or our team or somebody gets off somewhere and gets a boat torn up on a practice day, and they'll stay there and wait for you to get back on a Friday afternoon to fix it so you can go fishing, or know somebody wherever you're at to send you to get it fixed. You know, in the tournament fishing world, that means a lot when you can keep your boat on the water. And they've always seen to it that people are taken care of as their customers, and you know, kind of a testament to the business that they do. But you know, two of the finest people around. I know when Greer started the high school fishing around here, probably 2013 or so, kind of started all of it before I got involved. When Micah and Russell and all them were kids in school fishing for him, you know, Bob was involved, and then he started his trail. And when I took over the teams, he was the first one I went to, and has helped guide me and everything else. But like I said, these kids love him like family. He's done just tons and tons for the kids. Everybody looks forward to his tournaments. Everybody loves Mr. Bob. Like I said, Pat's the same way. There's not a better person that I've ever been around than Pat Latham, as far as, you know, just being good at what he does, and you know, the business they're in, service is a lot of it. You know, when you got a guy like Pat, you're gonna have the service because he knows more than anybody around about working on a boat.
Bobby is, he and Pat both are very unique individuals, and he's got a business to run and he runs it, and when he tells you something, that's the way it is. He's fixed a lot of things for me, and I have no complaints at all about anything he's ever done. As a matter of fact, I blew a motor some time ago, and I bought one from a former Classic winner, an Alabama boy, and he sent the motor to Bob. Bob installed that motor for me, and I mean, I wouldn't have put it on for what he put it on for. No way, but he installed a motor and there were no problems, everything's great. Integrity and just being a good guy.
Yeah.
He and Pat both are very nice folks. Bobby has put more time in kids and bass club tournaments, and I mean, he spends a lot of time with kids and these high school tournaments and things like that. You know, it's free gratis. He's not making. He may be getting advertisement out of it, but that's nothing. You know, he's there at 4 o'clock in the morning and he's there at 6 o'clock in the afternoon. And the only thing I can say about Bobby is that he has integrity. I can't do anything except speak highly of him. I really can't. Pat's worked on my boat a lot. We've talked a lot. We've fished against each other. We've never been in the same club, I don't think. We have butted heads a few times, and he's a funny guy to talk to. He's worked on my boat a lot, and takes the time and crawls around in that thing like he's 20 or 25 instead of probably 55. I'm guessing, but I'd say he's probably close to that. He's just like I say, he's like Bob. He's got family, and he handles himself well. I don't think he'd lie to you. They run a good business, and they're good people to talk to. And you're liable to run out there one day and they've cooked wings or they've cooked or barbecued or something, and you know, you just sit down and eat. It's just, you know, they just right there, good folks, just good old Southern country folks. That's what they are. We hard to beat.
Yep, that's right.
Where's old Bob or Hell at? How are you?
Well, I was in West Alabama Bass Club with Bob a long time ago, and I never really had anybody to fish with. And we were at Lay Lake after club tournament. He just asked me out of the blue if I wanted to start fishing tournaments with him. I was like, heck yeah, because he just won the thing. So I was like, heck, I love that. So we got together and started fishing tournaments together. We won a lot of money. We had a lot of fun. And I remember about 1996, he mentioned that he was going to try to buy half of L&L Marine. So I was pretty excited about that because that's where I got my boats from, and I hung out there a good bit. And yeah, sure enough, he bought it. And I think it was about 1997, I helped move the place down here. I actually built part of this cabinet right here. I built some of the shelves in there. I've been here since day one, and I've enjoyed every minute of it. I've worked here from 2002 to 2008, and then the economy went bad, so I had to leave for a while. And you know, Bob asked me about 2 years ago to come give him a hand, so I was glad to do that. But this place means a lot to me, and the people in it, they're all family. My kids were essentially raised here. My daughter knew how to say rattle trap before she knew how to say much of anything else. There's been a lot of prayers that have gone in this building over people, a lot of good and bad fishing advice. If you walk through that door and you had a bad day on Saturday in a tournament, you're going to hear about it. But likewise, you'll get rewarded with some slaps on the back if you do good. You know, these people are my family. But yeah, it's been a big part of my life, and you know, I have had, I don't know, 6 or 8 boats through this place. I can remember each and every one of them. I've made some good friends, great customers. There's people that I've sold boats to I didn't know at all who are good friends of mine years and years later. So yeah, it's a big chunk of the fishing community around here. Bob has essentially built it. You know, most of the tournaments around here are associated with L&L in some form or fashion. High school tournaments that Bob takes a big pride in, that he runs. And, you know, I can't imagine my life without this place in it in the past. It's kind of molded me as to who I am as a person and as a man. Bob is a great mentor. Gives great advice, sometimes not the advice you want to hear, but it's the advice you need to hear, and he's straightforward in that way, and I appreciate him for that, and Pat as well. Pat's not a real talker, but when he says something, it means a lot, and you know, that has helped me through my life since I've been hanging out with these guys, and I really appreciate their impact in my life and L&L Marine.
Most people know, but I worked at 2 other dealerships before we had the opportunity to open up here. Worked for Mr. Cunningham at CJS Sports Center. He sold to Randall, and he changed the name to North River. So I worked for them, both of them, till from 1980 till 94, December of 94. We got the opportunity to open up in 95, and we did. We started at Stardust Supper Club right down here. Just right down the road a couple of miles. Y'all probably don't know where that's at, but it was old bar, and it had been closed down for a while, but we got it, and that's where we started at.
We partnered up. L&L started actually the corporate papers in 1994. They actually opened in 95. I bought the first boat that L&L sold. Pat was working at North River. I had got wind that they were opening up. I went down and I said, I want to get a boat from y'all, you know. And so I ordered the first boat they sold. And then Pat and his cousin was the one that started L&L. Latham and Lewis.
Rocked and rolled for a little while. Of course, my first partner, he didn't work out. 2 years in, Bob come on board, and Bob had been a customer of mine, so it worked out real well.
Had an opportunity to buy Mr. Lewis out, and an opportunity for me to get out of the paint business.
There you go. It hadn't gotten any better since then.
I got a 3-rung limit now. That's as high as I go.
It hadn't gotten any better.
And in 97, I guess we moved up here. And we've been here ever since. But, you know, we had ups and downs. It's been good, without a doubt.
You know, we met, Darlene and Pat and Nancy and I met, talked about everything, you know, and prayed over it long and hard. And we feel like God put us together 27 years ago. And we hadn't looked back since.
That's it. I think he knew what he was doing.
Through all the perils and all the stuff, you know, he's been faithful. We've been faithful. and you know, it's been a great business.
And I guess the only reason I stuck around in the marine business to start with because it's a fun business. And you know, we like to fish, and we like the fishermen. We like to be out there with them. And it's kind of a unique business. But I tell you, most of our customers are great. They more like family than not.
That's what you know, kind of what I tell people about this place is it's a place that you can walk in the door and feel at home. Like, come in, sit down. There's always somebody to talk to that'll listen to your fishing stories or listen to your life problems or whatever you got going on, you know. And my kids love it here, and they always, you know, Pawpaw Bob's always here with the shiny boats, and it's just a place that you can come in and feel at home, and everybody that walks through the door kind of, you know, has that feeling, and you can feel it as soon as you come in. So
it's been really good, and I guess you could say me and Bob, we work well together. I guess you say mine and his family have lived life together, and that's really what it's about. L&L, I guess you say we grew old together.
that's it.
Because when I started, I mean, we started from really nothing. I was a young man, and I was, you know, it was a risky deal to do, but I was young enough that I could put my best foot forward.
There you go.
And that's what I did. It was a dream. Always has been. But I was young enough, and I said, well, I'm going to put my best foot forward and see what happens. And it took off. And I think we, you know, from starting from nothing, it's come along pretty good. I don't think it matters what you sell. As far as product line, you know, if you earn people's trust, and that's what you got to do in this day and time, is earn their trust. It don't matter if you're selling boat paddles with 250s on the back.
There you go.
They not buying Caymans, or they not buying Stratus or Triton. They buying you, and that's the most important thing. So if you give them a good product, good service, and you know, more or less be a friend, and they take them on as family, earn their trust, that goes a long ways.
Correct.
So